Yo, what is up? What is up? I'm your boy Ben Goose, and we got Sage Mark here. We are back at you, and we are live. What up, Sage?
What's good, Goose?
Not much. Not much. I know you're on your little sabbatical. You're watching movies. You got a lot going on. It's good to see your face, man. Good to see that beautiful face as well as that beautiful shirt you just happen to be wearing.
Yeah, need to get a version 2 coming on, but in that hashtag IRWP.
So if
What's
we had
good?
another, if we went second gen, right? Came out with a new edition shirt. What would be a good theme for it?
I just want one picturized saying, "We want the gold, sucker."
Oh, we can get like a little cartoon picture of you just holding or chasing like some stupid amount of gold. Yeah, that's a good one.
I think that would work.
Yeah, we'll
I
come
think
out
that
with
would work.
something. We come out with something. We got stuff in the works. We always got stuff in the works. So let's get into it. Do you want to start with we? I. You know what? You know what we should start with is props to all those people helping out with Hurricane Harvey. For those of y'all that don't know, we do the show live from San Antonio. We're in Texas last week. We did this show a day before Harvey was supposed to hit us here in San Antonio. Outright went a different direction, and it really did some damage to Houston. So if you get a chance, donate, do whatever you can. Go out there, the American Red Cross. There's a lot of different ways to donate. Donate to those kind folks out there. Shout outs to all the people that are helping out, getting people, up and running, doing their thing. Side note, also want to give a special shout out to a routine listener for those of y'all that listen live to Silky Mel Johnson. I call him Silky Mel Johnson because if he was a wrestler, dude would be extra silky. I feel like he'd be silky, like Rick the Model Martel. Silky Mel Johnson, what up? Thank you for joining us. So outside the ring, I mean, did something? Oh, did you see? Did you see? No, I don't think you texted me. Did you see that video of in some AAA promotion? It wasn't Lucha. I don't think it was Lucha Underground.
Oh, it's
That
Triple
girl
Mania,
broke that
Triple
other.
A, Triple Mania.
Did you see that?
Pissed off about that, but I'm trying to let it go.
I couldn't. So in the video I saw, I couldn't see that she broke that other girl's arm. It just to me it looked like normal wrestling, like a heel won the match and then they keep the hold on for an extra couple minutes. But I think her name was Sexy Star and I forgot the other girl's name. But
It's
yo,
Rosemary.
yeah, not cool. Why are you gonna break somebody's arm like that? She should be fired. How is she not fired yet?
Um, so Rosemary is the one from the Final Deletion, the chick from the other faction from the Final Deletion,
The one in the
who's
the
always trying to
tag
get
team that
deals.
really?
That's her.
No, the crazy chick that was with the tag team guys. That really?
Mary.
Jeez, man. Well,
Yeah.
that was not cool. Not cool.
No, not at all, man. And I won't harp on it too much, but I will say that wrestling, I mean, there's an unwritten rule in wrestling, no matter what kind of heat you have, whether you like the person that you're working with or not, of your opponent comes first and foremost. And she deliberately went against that particular rule. And as a result, she's been pretty much blacklisted being superstar or sexy star, being blacklisted from multiple promotions here in the U.S., as well as in Mexico, have actually like pulled her from bookings and things of that nature, which I think is the right approach. But you got something to say, but I mean, you don't like what someone's saying, or you got beef with someone. That's all fine and dandy, but still keep it professional.
Exactly.
Keep it professional.
Exactly. And that's the, eh, that and her finisher is the armbar. And that's a solid finisher. You could really hurt somebody with that, and it makes me point. What's the best female finisher? There's a lot of female finishers out there. I've seen some good ones over time. Mel Johnson in the chat watching live. You asked me the same question. You put it live in the chat. What's the best female finisher? Are we not going to go straight up Ember Moon on this?
Nope. Not after not after what I saw at the Mae Young Classic round 1, man, which I will say that I've already started doing the reviews on that. So if you guys haven't listened to it, you can find that on YouTube on our channel under the Mae Young Classic reviews. I will also upload those within the next couple of days to the so everyone listening podcast land, you guys can hear the reviews. But I
Don't
have to
say
say
it.
the best finisher.
Wait, don't.
No. Well,
I
I
haven't
will say
watched it
that
yet, and I'll just. So, am I going to see an amazing finisher on? I'm going to watch it tomorrow night, actually.
you will see an amazing finisher on there. And you know what? I won't even tell you what it is. I will just say that I will say this: when you see it, you'll know.
Okay, so we have a routine listener in Stephen Thatch. He's one of the regular live show listeners. And for those of y'all that listen to the audio podcast, like we said, we do this on YouTube. You get the kind of raw feed, the unedited feed. Even though when we edit it out, we just edit out some background sounds and stuff like that. The ambulances, the homeless people walking by that start talking to us. You've heard it in the past. Stephen Thatch said, he texted me and said, "Hey, yo, you got to watch this thing. It's just as good as the Cruiserweight Classic." And those were like dominant matches, bro. But okay, so taking out of the Mae Young Classic, which I've heard is amazing, and we're going to touch on that because I did watch your Mae Young Classic video, and then it started to get into details on the matches, so I paused the video and thought I'd catch up on it later. So all right, next week I'll watch the Mae Young Classic by next week, or at least the first round or second round, whatever they've got up, and we'll report back on it. So who on the active NXT, SmackDown, past, present, or future Raw roster? Give me some women's finishers that are legit. Just give me 3. Don't even have to be top 3.
Okay. So one of my favorite finishers is by Gail Kim. Mia Yim uses it too, but it's called Jesus, what it's called, something to the feet. Basically, foot into underneath your jaw, and then she drops down, and it's just like it's a chin check move. I like that one. That's probably my number 1. Number 2 would probably be is Spider. And then number 3, I like the Glamazon, man. The Glamazon's finisher was always hot, man. Which just air and just dropped you straight on your face. Those are probably my favorite 3.
So let me tell you something. Did you watch Raw this week live, or did you watch it on Hulu?
I watched it live.
So did you see Enzo's? Did you see Enzo's 205 live match?
I
He
think
fought
I took
Noam
a piss
Dar.
break, bro.
You know what
As soon as go ahead.
Enzo's new finisher is?
What is it?
Gail Kim's finisher.
Wait, what?
Yep, it's Gail Kim's, where you put your foot up under the chin and you pull him down by the arm, and it's like a chin check.
Yeah. Are you serious?
Yep, and he kind of messed it up too. Kind of botched it a little bit. Yeah.
Oh
No,
man.
Johnson and Chat said the same move. And if little unknown fact, it was Xavier Woods' finisher before. So I know there's always going to be sharing of finishers or whatever. That there's not many finishers that haven't been done already, but yeah. So does that take away from Gail Kim's credibility on the move?
No, because her setup for it, I haven't seen Enzo's setup for it, but I'm assuming that it's not there. But her setup for that move is pretty amazing because you don't know when it's gonna come. It just comes and it looks amazing. I, that was my number 1 until I saw the Mae Young Classic, and at that point, this is probably the best finisher in in my opinion.
Okay, we'll give it that. A lot of good
Yeah.
good women's finishers out there. So other than that, I don't think there was much outside the ring. Outside of
Got the
McGregor and
PWI rankings came out, the 100
they did.
rankings.
So do you want to talk about the McGregor Mayweather match and how bad you were wrong last week, or do you want to talk about the PWI?
I'd rather talk about the PWI, bro.
All right,
I'm
let's
a little
get into the
heated on
PWI
that.
rankings. You said last week that Mayweather was going to lose in what, round six, or did you say round 10? I thought you said 10, right? On last week's
I
show?
said he was I said he was going to win by round 6, but I did say that if it went past round 6 that it would go
That's it.
to Mayweather because it would be an Gaston issue, which exactly that's what it was.
So I'll give them credit. Those two dudes put on a hell of a show. Like that was
Yeah,
a
they did.
worldwide event, and it lived up to the hype. It was as fun as it should have been. If you couldn't have quote unquote booked that match any different. I thought it was fun. It was exciting. You know, McGregor came out hot, and you thought, whoa, if this guy can keep this up for 12 rounds, he's going to win for sure. Then he faded, and then he came out again later on, kind of hot. And you just thought, oh man, there's that one chance. And then when he started to get tagged in the 10th, you thought, oh no, Mayweather's not normally aggressive. Then he became aggressive, and if you listen to after the fight, McGregor said, "I turned him into a Mexican," meaning that strong, aggressive Canelo Alvarez type, Oscar De La Hoya type style, that aggressive fighting. So I thought it was great. It was good. I'd definitely watch a rematch if it happened because those two guys will hype up anything. So I thought it was good. Now on the
And
PWI,
Mayweather didn't use the shoulder tactic. He couldn't actually use the shoulder tactic. He tried to, but Mayweather kept using that southpaw move, and it
yeah,
so that was pretty good to they're actually having to do legit dodges as opposed to dropping his
just
shoulder bags.
yeah. Now the PWI, I'm not a fan of Okada being so. Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned and I have not watched either of the Kenny Omega Okada matches because they're not as easy as I thought to find. And there's three hot matches. They're not as easy as I thought to find, but Okada, here's what I'm confused about. They name Okada the number one wrestler of the year, but people are talking more about Kenny Omega. So I don't see how, and I haven't seen Okada's other work, but I don't understand how people come out of this talking about Kenny Omega when, they talk about Kenny Omega, but Okada wins the number one. I think Kenny Omega won he like four, five on that list. He made top five. I don't remember what number, but uh,
I don't think Kenny Omega was in the top 10.
no, he was definitely in the top 10. But he was behind. So you know who number two was, right? P1.
I have to go back and look at it.
Oh, it was the
That's
P1
right.
superstar.
And then KO I think was 3 or 4.
Yeah, I think. So I mean, if you were going to talk about the PWI five, the top, the list of the greatest wrestlers in the world over the past year, it's obvious AJ Styles is in the top three, unarguably. He should be number one. So I don't know why Okada. I don't know if it's maybe. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he had some feuds outside of Omega that made him huge. I I don't know. I don't know.
So I've got two issues with the PWI, and it might just be my own ignorance, and I'll admit that. But one, I don't understand how these things are ranked, and two, I don't like if they're power rankings for wrestlers. Why the hell aren't women incorporated in these top 500? Like I know that they have their separate one, which is a top 50, but I think that the PWI 500 should encompass all 500. And the reason why I say this is that I can name at least two people, maybe in that top 10 list, that are not better than Asuka from a pure wrestling standpoint. They're on that list. I don't get that. Like I don't get it. I mean, I would have put it, and I would have definitely put Asuka ahead of at least two of those people that were on that top 10 list.
She would be definitely the highest ranking woman in the world. I think easily. I'm sure they put her on because, come on, think about it. Are there really 500? She's
They're
got to be.
literally 500, dude. There are jobbers that are their first year that are ranked 497 that are on that list. And there are no
No.
women listed in that. Yes, and there are no women listed in that PWI 500 at all.
There's got to be. There's not 500 wrestlers in the world, is there?
They're ranking everyone that's on the main roster and everyone who basically anyone who can get booked is listed on that list, man.
No. Then where's Everett Orion? Where was he on the list?
I'm pretty sure there's more than 500 wrestlers, bro. Not saying my boy Evan Orion shouldn't be on that list, but I'm just saying there's definitely more than 500 wrestlers. But fortunately, I mean, you could take a look at the list, man, or just use the hashtag PWI 500 on there, and you'll see some jobbers on there that are thanking PWI, for this being
All
their
right.
debut year
So I pulled up the list,
and on there.
and
But
freaking Bobby Lashley was ahead of John Cena on this. What is this list? Is this list
yeah,
trash?
that's my thing. Like, I don't know, I don't understand how this thing is concocted, how it's put together. But I will say that if we're ranking 500 wrestlers, you know that you can tell me that one, Samoa Joe's not on that list. I mean, or let me say, Samoa Joe, you have Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns over Samoa Joe. Like, how? Not even on the list, but over Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns. Like, I don't get that, man. I'm glad
Yo,
my boy The Miz made the top 10 spot, though. I'm happy about that, and he's well deserved. Probably should be higher. Probably definitely should be above Dean Ambrose for sure. Roman Reigns, I get definitely above Dean Ambrose.
well, he's super popular. Dude, check this out. So on this list, I'm looking at the list now. Yo, get
Mhm.
this. Big Cass ranked higher than Aleister Black, Chad Gable, and Ty Dillinger, and Akira Tozawa. So it can't be. Now, you know what this list? It can't be just in ring. Because Miz to make the top 10, majority of his best work has been on the mic. He's legit on the mic. I don't even know any of these guys on in the bottom. Cheeseburger. Somebody named Cheeseburger is rated in the bottom 400. I don't even know half these people.
Oh. So
And not on the.
I'd be interested to maybe we can get one of these guys on the podcast from Pro Wrestling Illustrated. Is that what it is? Pro Wrestling Illustrated?
Yeah, and they could promote it and everything. Yeah.
Get promoted, but I would definitely like to get them on the podcast to kind of help explain this ranking system and how it exactly, you know, either. And I'm also going to put this, and I'll be forewarned, guys, because I am going to put the screws to them and ask them why the women aren't. They are wrestlers. It shouldn't be separated. Um, I mean, 10 or 15 years ago, I get it, but now there's no reason. You got women like Tessa Blanchard. You got women like Dakota Kai. You got women like what's her name? AKA Kimberly. Like, these women should. We should be hearing more of these on the PWI, and yet we're relegating them to top 50. Come on, man. Get out of there with that junk.
Yeah, who knows? But that'd be interesting to hear what they got to say. So, Raw this week. I thought Raw was interesting. I'm always a fan of hearing Brock Lesnar talk. I'm not gonna lie. I missed the completely gotten rid of pyro, as we know, on all shows for the most part. I think pay-per-views may have a little something something. But Raw this week, man, I loved Brock Lesnar coming out, and first of all, him just being on Raw, I thought was awesome, and him taking the mic from Paul Heyman and saying "Suplex City, bitch," I thought was legit. They're gonna build up this Brock Lesnar feud, this Lesnar Strowman. They're gonna this No Mercy's turning out to be a good pay per view, really good pay per view.
I agree. I agree.
So, what do you think of Raw? You came out hot with the Battle Royal and all that, and I think I could look forward to Jeff Hardy versus The Miz. I think overall, fans still love Jeff Hardy. How big could Jeff Hardy have been if he never left the WWE, in his previous run, or never, kind of got into the drugs and all that? How big do you think he could have been?
I mean, I think he's still big now. Like I don't think there ever is a ceiling for the Hardys. I mean, I put them in the same category as like a Hogan, a Flair, as respect to the tag team division, or I should say like Animal Hawk, like the Road Warriors and things like that. I mean, the Hardys are in terms of popularity. So the singles run, yeah, they're great as singles, but they're there always will be a tag team. That's where they thrive the most out of. So you can push both of them as single wrestlers as well, because you can't do that with most tag team wrestling or wrestlers.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you put it spot on. They don't. They're one of the few people of all time who the ceiling is what they make it. And unfortunately, they had this stuff going on in the past, but they come back and they're still ridiculously over. They could still they're pretty decent in the ring. Jeff Hardy's just a charismatic dude, man. People just drawn to the guy. So I'm looking forward to Jeff Hardy and The Miz. Like, what I like about it is that it sets up a match for next week's show. So Raw is not in the we have 6 weeks till another pay per view mode or anything like that. They've got two. So I loved it. I thought that's cool. I always like when they set up a match for the following week. SmackDown did the same with Nakamura and Randy Orton. So I thought it was cool. I'm a fan of random battle royals, well, overall it was just good to set up next week's show so we have something to definitively look for.
I,
Not
th-
gonna lie. Oh, good.
I thought it was well done. I will say kudos to the booking team for putting that battle royal on, because it almost immediately happened. It was like maybe a 2 or 3 minute talking segment, and then right into the battle royal, which was pretty amazing. And I thought that some of the spots were meaningful spots for everyone, and you really, for a good moment towards like the six, you really couldn't tell which way they were going. Like they were swerving pretty hard in terms of making it look like Jason Jordan was going to win. And Jason Jordan
Yes.
looked very impressive, which I will say, like, more than normal, he was impressing me, and I was starting to get invested in it. And then it's the lights out treatment. And then Jason Jordan eliminates, I can't remember the two people that he had eliminated back to back. And then
Yeah, at the end.
looked as looked as almost that he was going to get himself eliminated, and he turned that around, and then Jeff came up behind him, took him out. So I thought the whole sequence, the last six sequence, was really, really well done. The Miz sold it very well as well, and to see Bo Dallas and my boy Henning in there doing their thing. So Raw really, really did a great job.
Yeah, they stepped it up this week. The only thing I'll say is that I'm not gonna lie, I when I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't really into the. I should have been. I'm not gonna lie, I was not into the Rollins versus Cesaro and then the follow up Shane versus Dean matches all that much. I don't know why. I don't know. I don't know. I guess I'm just not into this feud for some reason. Maybe I'm just jaded because, like I said on last week's show, or maybe a week before that or so, like I've said in the past, the Shield reunion just doesn't get me. I don't. get into it because I hear the Shield theme every single week. So there's no like shock factor. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. There's just no shock factor to me if the Shield gets back together. There will be, I guess, for everybody else, but you know what I'd rather see? I'd rather see Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins do the whole thing. You know, because those dudes are ridiculously over right now. Fans love them. And then Dean Ambrose pull the swerve on Seth Rollins, and they have like a little feud or whatever. So it has more height to it. So like you start thinking, okay, well now that Dean's a heel and he's feuding with Seth Rollins, man, now the Shield's definitely not going to get back together at all because, or at least not for another 2, 3, 4 years. Then you have a big reunion at that point because all those dudes are still young. That would be kind of cool. I don't think it'll happen because Dean's like hella over. He's always been over, and but yeah, I don't know. I'm just not interested in the Shield reunion right now. And they just broke up what 2.5 years ago. It hasn't even been that long.
It's been about 3, almost 4 years now. Um, I, I'm with you for the most part on it. I think the money and the Shield won't come unless they have a faction to go against. I'm hoping, and I know I've said this week after week after week, I'm hoping for a War Game Survivor Series. 'Cause I think that that would make it a bit interesting, a bit more interesting if they did decide to go the Shield route. But who knows? The lack of talent in the division is like you're starting to see them being exposed there. You know, legit got 2 tag teams going on right now, so it's going to force in terms of what they're going to do with the tag team division. You're either going to continue to play this feud out through the rest of the year, or you're going to end up having to call people to fill this spot. I will say I am more excited about the Good Brothers um, being more present on week after week. You know, even though they're taking L's, it's still good to see them on there. And
Wait, are those guys on the Good? Oh yeah, yeah, the Good Brothers are entertaining. I think that I think you're right. I think when I look at the tag team scene, there's a lot to be said. But we talked about it last week. We would love to see the Authors of Pain get called up. I think that'd be something that's real cool. I think that could go on. Luckily, the tag team division is something that can always be. You could always have some availability of folks. So there's always, things that could go on. There's always, tag teams you can put together. And we haven't even really, if you think about it, we haven't even really seen uh like Fandango and Tyler Breeze, the Fashion Police, really up and at it. We haven't really seen, there's just so much that could happen right now with the tag team division. I think that one thing that's pretty cool on Raw of a mix of tag teams. So you have the Hardys, but then you have the Sheamus Cesaro. Even though I was just saying I didn't watch the match because I don't really know where they're going, but you have a good solid mix of teams that were kind of thrown together. And these guys gelled. Sheamus and Cesaro gelled together. So you have a good solid mix in the tag team division on Raw, even though there's not a lot of tag team action. We agreed. Of guys you could either throw together or just solid tag teams. So it'll be interesting to see what happens, in the future. I think that, and then we still haven't even gotten, and I think it's inevitable it's going to happen. We still haven't even gotten the final deletion, the Broken Hardys yet. So that's going to come too. Now, I say the tag team division was doing well. One thing that I'm just not the I don't know is the women's division on Raw. Now, granted, I was okay with a women's main event. I watched the whole thing. I was actually pretty pumped for the match. Alexa Bliss is good, but before we get into the main event, Mickey James versus Emma. Just give it to me. What the hell is Emma's gimmick?
I Dude, I'm so pissed off about that. I don't know what the hell they're doing with her. They changed her fucking music, man. Like, why? Her music hurt that is not even more than a year or two old. Like, it's and I don't know, man. I don't know what they're doing with her. Like, her and Ziggler, I'm so perplexed on because it feels
Yes.
like it's the same exact gimmick.
I don't know.
I
I don't know
just
what they're doing with either one of them. And Ziggler can go.
so it's not, for lack of better words, it's not translating very well on screen. To me, it's a waste of talent. It could be used so much differently. I, I feel like if they're not good, God, the sad thing is that we can't ship Emma to SmackDown because SmackDown is already like overloaded with women. Um, so with it being an hour less of a show, she's just going to be drowning there.
I I agree. I don't know what the heck's going on with Emma. I don't know what her gimmick is. Hopefully we find out, but you know what, we should just be appreciative that she was on TV, let's just take it
Take
for
the
that.
wins.
What do you think of Alexa Bliss regaining the title? And then we'll get into the big part of Raw. 'Cause
Yeah,
I was
the
a fan.
yeah. I mean, I was too. You know, I was thinking to myself when the title changed hands again, like this is Sasha's gimmick. Like, I know that a lot of people are upset that Sasha doesn't hasn't had a meaningful run. And I think I read somewhere that Alexa Bliss has had a longer title reign in terms of holding the belt, longer in days than Sasha Banks has held it in their 4 times holding the belt, which is I think
Wow.
that sounded convoluted, but
Well, and her four reigns
um, but
combined. Wow.
yeah, and her 4 reigns combined. So that stat was kind of mind blowing to me to even think of that. But um, I think Sasha being put in this position was just kind of the spot was really meant for Bayley. I mean, let's be honest, it was really meant for Bayley. Bayley was supposed to be the one to hold the title, then lose it, and then the whole heel turn with Nia Jax was supposed to happen, which would have made it sweeter. But I mean, we've gotten 3 compelling matches out of both of them, which is pretty good. So I can't really complain about that. And the payoff was so sweet. I'm been waiting so long for Nia Jax to get her opportunity at the belt.
Oh yeah, I think it'll be good. It was just women, we saw the payoff coming for sure. Now, and it was good to see Alexa get the belt back because we're fans. The IWP, it's Real Wrestling Podcast, is for sure fans of Alexa Bliss. But the highlight of Raw, by far, night, that contract signing and the title of this week's episode, Cena greater than Roman. I Man, it was like watching a rap battle. Like, he definitely won, right?
Yeah, man, it was like watching an episode of Nick Cannon's. What's that show that Nick Cannon has?
Wilding out.
Wild 'N Out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like an episode of watching Wild 'N Out, like someone going against what's that guy's name? Faison, not Faison.
Yeah. It's Faison something. I know who you're talking about.
Um, but yeah, going against him and like just got the total shutdown treatment, man. And I absolutely I loved it. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm I loved it for different reasons. I loved it because it sounded as though that like it was being everything that we as marks have said about Roman Reigns was finally getting on air. And whether or not I think that it was scripted to a point, but it felt like it got a little out of hand, which I legit think that Cena felt like he was disrespected when Roman forgot his lines again,
Ugh,
and
yeah,
that's when he took it into that sixth gear. Man, he just kind of went off. But I appreciate I definitely appreciate the voice being heard because it validated our concerns. So and it's proof that we are actually being heard. Now, whether or not they want to go and do something about it is a totally different thing. But all the concerns that we've had about Roman Reigns, the character, in terms of being pushed and taking opportunities away from other people, um, and I felt good about that, man. And Roman, the person, um, you know, I felt like he took it a little bit personal too, but he takes
yeah.
digs at the fans, man. So it's only right that we get to take a dig at him too. But the interesting that I thought, the interesting thing that I got out of it from the community, from the IWC community, is I felt that this was probably the next best thing to a John Cena heel turn. What do you think?
I I think so too. You so for anybody who's listening, you're not gonna get it, especially now. John Cena's never turning heel. Dude's just is the biggest thing in wrestling over the past 10, 12 years. Even if he did turn heel, he'd still be half face, whatever. But I think I'm good with it, man. I'm good with these guys feuding. I thought that this past week, what was said on Raw was them not only playing into what the IWC and the Twitter sphere and the marks and all that think, but I got a text from a friend who put it great. Stephen Thatch. He texted me and said, "Man, true reality era promos because they bring in the real, they bring in the real and the reality." And let's look at one of the biggest feuds of all time, if not the biggest feud of all time, Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels. Their feud lasted years, but what really, and it catapulted and ended at the Montreal screw job. But all the buildup and all the storytelling. If you told somebody today, you know what, let me tell you about the Bret Hart Shawn Michaels feud from start to scratch, you would definitely, the beef, the meat and potatoes would be about Shawn Michaels and his sunny days comment and referencing Bret Hart cheating on his wife and Bret Hart thinking Shawn Michaels is a degenerate, to which Shawn Michaels trolled him and said, "Oh, all right, well, if I'm a degenerate, I'm going to form Degeneration X," all that good stuff. Like, it was the realness of it. And the Montreal Screwjob was the epitome, realness of it. So that's why Paul Heyman's great, because he references UFC and all that stuff with Brock. It's the real and the reality. So that was a promo, and Miz is amazing at bringing the real and reality. That promo was, we're gonna take what everybody's thinking. Now let's go out there and just have fun with it. Let's roll with it. I mean, Cena, you don't have to tell him what to do because he's been doing it forever. But it was just a very real promo. Like, I could cut a promo on you, Sage, if we're in the ring and say, you may be 6'6" and I'm 5'11" heart than you, and there's no way you're gonna beat me right here in San Antonio, Texas. And I'm gonna get a pop, and you're gonna look like a bad guy. But it that's just typical scripted lines. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, just like if
That
I were to retort and say, I forgot my lines, but you're a punk ass, and I would get a pop. You know what I'm saying?
so you know what card he pulled out, and I'll respect him for this. Everybody's gonna hate Roman for this, but got his lines. If he did, I don't know. I don't work on the show. If he truly forgot his lines, I'll give him credit. Homeboy went straight up into it's a PG show. I'm gonna throw out the cuss word. All right, you punk, and he said it. He said it, and that's no. I think he called him a punk ass bitch, and that's the fail safe easy card is like it'd be like the equivalent of if Shane McMahon and or excuse me Stephanie and Triple H are in the ring and they're going off on me on a promo because both of them have mic skills, and I forget my lines and say, uh, uh oh, all right, Triple H. Well, I see who's got the balls in that family. It's those like fail safe. It just oh crap, this interview's not going well. This promo's not going well. What's the fail safe? You know what I mean? Y2J.
Yep.
Why not Y2 bitch? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's so many fail safes. But you know what? If he truly forgot his line, maybe he did, maybe he didn't. But he held his own. Like he kept, and nobody watches Roman Reigns for a
Did
Roman Reigns promo. No, okay.
really? Did he really hold
No,
his
listen,
own?
listen. He held his own. He still got dominated in that battle. He still
He
lost
got
bad.
destroyed. Let's call
Yeah,
it. Let's
he
just
lost.
call it what it was. A
He
destruction.
lost bad. He lost real bad. But he didn't. People will get buried by by Cena on the mic because Cena's got mic skills and just kind of you sit there and take it or whatever. But there's some people who will respond and get some response out of the crowd, and he got a good response, especially when he said, you go out. He said something along the lines of, "You go out and you fight us up and comers, and you bury us." And I thought, here we go. He's gonna throw out the part timer speech. But he called out Cena, was like, "You know who I?" He said something along the lines of, and the indirect point was, "Yo, you know who I am. You know I don't get buried, right? You know I'm definitely not getting buried. You know I retired the Undertaker, right? You know I'm the man that doesn't get buried, right?" And I was like, damn, get it, Roman, scripted or not. He said that, and it worked. That was the highlight. You know, a lot of the IWC people complain about wrestling, but when the highlight of the week is a promo, you could look at that as in saying, man, that means the match has sucked. Or you could look at it as in like, man, wrestling's in a good spot if there was some decent matches, but a promo was one of the best spots of the week. But let me ask you something. In what, a month and a half time frame, we've had Shinsuke Nakamura versus John Cena, dream match, maybe WrestleMania match. Now Roman Reigns versus John Cena, dream match, maybe WrestleMania match. Is the writing on the wall that Cena? We've said it before. He works part time. His days are numbered. Are his days now very, 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 very numbered?
I, I don't think so, man. I mean, I know he's gonna go and work on that Bumblebee project and everything of that nature, but I work on his last point, which is one that we've said for weeks to months, I should say, that Roman cannot get over whatsoever, and it's because Roman can't get over that John Cena can't retire. Um, I mean, it's just simple as that. They had to bring John Cena, like they felt comfortable taking John Cena out of SmackDown Live because it's sustainable on its own. It doesn't need SmackDown Live. But they had to bring him over to Raw because of the fact that it's not getting over. And one of the reasons why it's not getting over is because reject Roman Reigns. And I feel like for good reason. It's poor booking of Roman Reigns. It's himself and not compelling enough in the ring for us to be entertained on a week-to-week basis. And that's why I think John Cena kind of ended it with, part-time than he could ever do it full time, because I mean, honestly, it's the truth. When he comes in, so or maybe he is going to wrestle, but he's going to wrestle in a tag team match. But it's still higher ratings than anything that Roman does. X when he gets his ass beat by Braun Strowman, because that will always get ratings.
Oh yeah, yeah. Braun Strowman's he's having a career year, but I think yeah, you're right, man. I think when I look at it, and I'm just talking, I think Roman's actually pretty okay in the ring, but just because I do want to see. All right, is this the one he loses? He's decent in the ring. I think at the end of his career, I'll be able to say he's a little bit better than Cena in the ring. Because Cena didn't, he didn't have a much. He didn't have much, but he tries his hardest, and you go out and you see a hell of a match. Like, dude knows how to. He may not have the biggest move set in the world, but he knows how to tell us. He knows how to put on a match and put out something entertaining, and that's all we could ask for. But it is. I do think it's funny. I do really think it's funny that when you are related, Roman Reigns, to the Usos and The Rock, and your mic skills are below average, yeah, man, how could you be related to those three and have below average mic skills? I'm looking forward to No Mercy. I think personally, if you ask me, John Cena, I think he's got a year at most, WrestleMania at most left. I'm not saying he's not gonna do like a fight like Brock, like just at the big shows, with the exception of No Mercy and stuff like that. But I think the part time that Cena is going to become very part time next year, meaning he might just fight at the Rumble, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, and WrestleMania at most. That's kind of how The Rock kind of, wrapped up. I think Cena's just busy. And if you think about it, if I was John Cena and Shinsuke Nakamura, and we talked about it, it's no, big, it's an accident, but I got dropped on my head, and my agent sees that match and says, "Hey, like, we got this Bumblebee movie. You get hurt in the ring." And those Transformers movies, man, they make so much money. Huge budgets, $100 million budgets. If my agent calls me and says, "Yo, if you're going to get dropped on your head, you realize this, 5, 10, 15, $20 million paycheck coming from this movie is not going to go through. And what you're planning to do after your wrestling career is not going to work out," man, you got to nix that stuff. So I don't know how much longer Cena's going to be around. I think that they know he's not going to be around much longer. So that's why they're giving us the Cena Nakamura, Cena Roman Reigns. And some people are mad that it's at No Mercy, but hey, who cares? You're getting to see John Cena versus Roman Reigns. Big deal. And then if they bring him back as a part timer next year, then cool. Then he'll get to fight, you know, Bobby Roode or something like that. So I think, and Cena don't care about putting people over either, which is really awesome. And you're right, he did leave SmackDown and he went to Raw, but SmackDown replaced him with what me and you love. They replaced him with somebody who I wouldn't say is amazing is not a word to describe him. What's a good word that they could replace him with a man that's not amazing, but he's glorious?
Okay.
And and that's huge because that fills the void for the Marks. Us Marks love some Bobby Roode. He definitely, Sage. You called it a couple weeks ago. You said sometimes people debut from NXT and you don't watch NXT or the takeovers, so the non-Marks, basically the kids and the women, have to get used to him. And I could Nakamura, unfortunately, even though he's big, and Bobby Roode, I could see them having to get over with the non, NXT watchers and stuff like that. But I I loved seeing Bobby Roode this past week. Obviously, he's a face. The glorious taunt that he does is amazing. But did you see who he beat?
Yeah. Well, I did, but I will say that I actually enjoyed the match because it wasn't a squash.
I agree.
It was a competitive match. So for that, I actually enjoyed that. So
I didn't. I saw when Mike Canella. To me, they're sitting on a heel gold mine with Maria and Mike Kanellis. That's a gold mine. So Maria's been in the business 10 plus years. Mike can go in the ring. He's fine. But you're sitting on a gold mine because there's nothing more than people hate nothing more than almost a happy couple. I mentioned reality earlier. Reality TV is seeing the drama on TV. But when you have a couple that's two good looking people that don't have drama, but they're so passionate and lovey dovey in your face. Like, imagine if you had a party and all these couples come over, your wife, my wife, this person, this couple, this couple, this couple, and there's this couple that's so cuddled up on your couch and just kissing each other all night. They probably wouldn't be on the invite for the next party because you'd be like, man, that couple, I ain't trying to be, I ain't trying to. They're too wrapped up in each other. And he took her last name, which just shows, like, man, and their theme song and their gimmick is like high school prom lovers so in love with each other. They could go out and just cut a promo where people just get disgusted with them. Maria, didn't she call herself the first diva of the WWE and all that stuff?
first lady. Yep.
They're not. When he lost, I'm not gonna lie, and I think he'll be fine. But it kind of stung a little bit. And I'm glad Bobby Roode won. He's not gonna be put into a feud yet or whatever. But and then I saw Dolph Ziggler cut the promo. And you know what? I actually 2 weeks in a row, Dolph's cut a promo, and I dig him because he's taking a shot. He's doing the real and the reality part, taking a shot at the show and stuff like that. Um, he's taking digs at other characters that have gone on to other shows and stuff. So I'm curious to see what kind of his repackage, if there is any or whatever, because I like him as a heel. And Dolph could do anything, right? Would you agree? He's decent on the mic and he's very good in the ring.
Yeah, we'll see what he does next week if unless they try to prolong that again. Um, it's unfortunate with what Dolph is going through. I don't think the creative has anything for him, so they're just kind of letting him go and do his thing. Um, but it could be worse, man. It could be worse. He could uh, go into the U.S. Open Challenge tournament and lose in less than 2 minutes to the U.S. champ.
that that hurt because Mike Kanellis, Dolph Ziggler, and Ty Dillinger. I said it last week. Where's Ty Dillinger at the perfect 10? The dude's over. And he's losing in a quick match. And I'm cool because it's AJ Styles, but that guy, he's over. Put him in something. SmackDown doesn't have a ton of heels. I'll say that. They really don't have a ton of heels. But you just, and I know it's only 2 hours, and they have a really good women's division and really good tag team wrestling. Just, I don't know. But what's nice about the brand split is those guys. So if Ty's not, on SmackDown now, he'll be on it in 4 months, hopefully, or something. Yeah, seeing Ty lose was a bit rough this week. I'll definitely agree there. Shelton Benjamin debuted. Has the guy lost a step?
I mean, he's definitely. I'm perplexed with that one, man, because he's been working the indie scene like on a constant basis for the last almost 10 years, I think, since he left the WWE. It might be closer to 6, I don't know, but he definitely had ring rust in that match. It was good to see. I think the nostalgia was just having him the gold standard in the ring, which was great, but you could definitely tell like his cardio wasn't there. Ring rust was there, and I know he just came back from an injury, but he wasn't out for that long from the injury.
It was about a
So
year. It's a long time. before they at
Was it a
least brought him
year?
back. Yeah, because it was last summer that they said it was right at the brand
At the
split.
draft. Yeah, was that right at the draft? You're right.
Yeah,
Okay, so all right, so then that makes sense then if he
and
was out
granted,
for
the
a full
dude's got to
year.
be close to 40, so
Any
that stuff
different
takes you a
than
long time.
I mean he
Yeah,
looks a little bit bulkier, but he looks exactly the same.
yeah. So I didn't care too much for the Randy Orton and Shinsuke match, the tag team match that ended the show. But what I did like is that Randy Orton RKO'd Shinsuke, so it kind of sets up for a good match next week with Randy Orton Nakamura. Hopefully Randy Orton wins. So we've had two shows where they actually set up for next week. I think that's awesome. I'm a fan,
So
especially since SmackDown's in the Sage long haul.
you want Randy Orton to beat Shinsuke Nakamura next week to fight Jinder Mahal again?
You know, I don't care because I was not impressed with that Jinder Mahal Jinder Mahal Shinsuke Nakamura match very much. Really, to be honest with you, no matter who wins that match next week, I think Jinder's going to beat both or either, or maybe they'll turn it into a triple threat or something. I think Jinder's going to win anyways, but I I will say this: the Randy Orton versus Jinder Mahal matches, or you could pick any one of the matches, have been more entertaining than that Jinder Mahal Shinsuke Nakamura match
I
because of the
agree.
Singh brothers, obviously.
I would much rather see, and this is just me. I was intrigued by what Rusev told Jinder Mahal. Needs of a face turn for Rusev and to take the chip off of Jinder Mahal, I think I would be all for that.
What do you say?
He was saying that so there was a backstage segment. He's basically said that they're both tag team partners, but they're not friends. And after they take care of Randy Orton and Shinsuke Nakamura, he said, "I'm coming for that title." And I was like, "Yo, that's my boy Rusev getting the chance for the belt. That's my boy. Let's go."
Yeah. So SmackDown was good, Raw was good, entertaining week in wrestling. And sometimes we have to remember as fans that watching wrestling can be a bit much because you got 5 hours on a Monday and a Tuesday, and then an hour at 205 Live, then you got the Mae Young Classic, then you have NXT, then you got pay-per-views. So yeah, a lot went on this week in wrestling. We got a stat card coming up in new. Oh, what the heck? I just completely No Mercy. Oh my god, I almost forgot the name of the pay-per-view. We got a stat card coming up, but there's just it was. I will give this week. Maybe we'll start that as a new thing. I'll give this weekend a solid B plus. Yeah, between Monday Night Raw and SmackDown. If you had to grade this week, just both shows overall, give this week in wrestling just for the two main shows a grade. What would you give them?
Give it a B plus as well. Um,
Entertainment factor was there.
yeah, entertainment was definitely there. There, yeah. I mean, I don't think there was anything that was terrible with it other than Enzo. Um, but I will say that 205 Live had Jack Gallagher and at it, and that was all kinds of rough. I mean, rough in a good way, like very like raw fisticuffs kind of stuff. So that was pretty good. And then Arya
Nice.
Davari and
Tozawa.
Tozawa probably had the best match of the week out of wrestling. So if you haven't seen that, I definitely would recommend going out and watching that match. I mean, that episode just for that match alone. Ari Davari is he's so underrated. He is such a, I said this in the Cruiserweight Classic, man. This guy is like the ultimate heel. If it wasn't for him being a Cruiserweight, man, I think this guy could have gone on the main roster as one of the best heels in the company, man.
Oh, I agree. I think that the cruiserweight division has some just insane talents. Like the actual in-ring work in the cruiserweight division in 2055 is insane. But that's awesome that they have a show that could build just content for the network and it's live content feeling and basically not that it's a on-demand wrestling channel. So I'm a fan of the live content. Now, I didn't have much else. I write my notes down on stuff I want to talk about this week. I didn't have much else. What else you got?
I got a couple of things, man. So we're gonna announce the first winner of our 2K18 um, tournament, or not tournament, but our pre-order that we're giving away. Get into some shout outs and then just some couple of housekeeping things at the end. So I'll let you do Russian roulette. Which one you want to do first?
Let's go with the 2K18 because I've seen some pretty awesome videos this week
Perfect.
of
All right.
entrance videos. So I'm getting pretty pumped for the game.
So, as we were saying, guys, anyone who's been listening to the podcast in last month, we are running a contest from now until the 28th of October, which is the release of 2K18 WWE. In order to qualify for your chance to win a copy of the game, all you got to do is subscribe to the audio podcast, take a screenshot of it, and then post it on your online social media platform, whether it's Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and either use the hashtag IRWP or just tag us, mention us, and you'll automatically be entered. So this week we have Mr. Miguel Reese is actually our winner for August. So congratulations. Thank you for being subscribed to us, Raul. Probably shouldn't have said your last name, but it's okay, man. I mean, there's a lot in San Antonio. So not saying you from San Antonio, just saying period. But congratulations and thank you so much for subscribing to IRWP and helping us grow. And if you're listening to this right now, you still got 3 more chances. Except Raul, since he already won, he can't be back in there. But
Yeah, he's gonna try and take advantage of us. Sell that game,
definitely.
go to the pawn shop.
So hear from us, Raul. Thank you so much again, buddy. So appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you, Raul. I want to give a quick shout out to Official Chivo. You can find him on Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, etc., at Official Chivo. That's somebody I know personally who is going to be hitting Madden. For those of y'all who don't know, Madden's a big game. Madden 18 came out. I copped it last week. And I didn't hold up to my end of the bargain. I only played 2 hours of it last week. Got my ultimate team doing terrible. So I'm going to stack up my team this weekend, especially since we got the Labor Day weekend. So go ahead and give my boy Official Chivo the like, comment, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff. He's actually going to be doing a giveaway pretty soon here. So if you play Madden and you want some coins, he's going to be doing a giveaway here. It's actually going live September 9th at Official Chivo. Go ahead and hit him up on Twitter, and he'll be doing this giveaway on September 9th. I think he's got 4 players in the elite category he's going to give away. And speaking of shout outs, you want to get into some shout outs?
Do it. All right, guys. So I'm gonna try to go through these as quickly as possible. So go ahead and start out with some of these names. I swear, are just kind of crazy. Piz, and let me spell this out for you. It's at because I'm the Piz, Piz. Thank you so much for following us. We have Ryan O'Shawn. He is a pro wrestler and former United States Air Force. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate your service, sir.
Thank you.
Rose Johnson. Thank you so much for following us. Welcome to the movement. We have the game at S2H82_. Thank you so much for following us. It looks like that might actually be a bot. We'll figure it out. Special shout out. Oh, that's for sure, bro. Special shout out to Shimmer Wrestling, the female-only wrestling promotion, has followed us. I follow them personally too. Very, very great organization. Some of my favorite wrestlers are. That's why My favorite wrestlers, my favorite female wrestlers, PWY, one list, hashtag. Um, Thank you so much. You guys go check them out at Shimmer Women on Twitter. We also have John-Luke at run_the ropes. We have PW transcriptions, I'm sorry, at PW transcripts. We've got the Rack at Rack Radio Show. Thank you so much for following us. We have Truck Gordon. He's a UFC Ultimate Fighter champion, season 19. Yeah, hey man, we appreciate you.
Nice.
Thank you so much. We got Thomas Brewston. He's actually a wrestler. Thank you so much for following us. We have Kiana at K_50. We've got Hookem, who's a Texas native, at Richard Robles 2. I guess that's how you say it. And then last but not least, we've got at Trey_Salcio. Thank you so much for following us. Again, guys, you can find us on Twitter at Real WrestleCast. My boy Ben Goosen. Where can they find you, Ben Goosen?
At Real Bangusen on Twitter. Let's go back a quick second. Truck Gordon giving him a shout out. Did he follow us? Did I miss
Yeah,
something?
man, he followed us, bro.
We
You
gotta
know
get
who
him on
Truck
the show.
Gordon is?
Yay!
I mean,
He won a Ultimate Fighter. Well, he won the Ultimate Fighter show. You know the TV show that comes on season
yeah, the TV
nine.
show, 19.
Yeah, it would have been 19. Yeah. Wow. We got to get him on the
Yeah,
show.
we'll try to make that happen, man. We've actually got a couple of people who've asked to
Yeah, we do.
show a couple wrestlers, so we need to really get on that pretty quickly here. Um, I'll have our people call his people to call our people to call his people and get
That
this thing done.
means we are gonna send an email here in about an hour, bro. Yo, shout outs to
Well, we
Truck
gotta,
Gordon. That's legit.
yeah, that's pretty legit, man. So, yeah, man, we've check our list, man. We've got a couple of we've got more than a few celebrities to follow us, so that's a good thing, man. It's really helps validate what we do here. You know, we're
Yeah,
not politically correct. We love the business and we show it in our own way by providing this podcast to the masses. Um, that's what we do here at IRWP, just like the T-shirt.
that's what I'm saying. So, with all that going on, like we said last week, peace, love, unity, and respect. Me and my boys used to call it plur back in the day. Peace, love, unity, and respect. A lot of stuff going on. If you get a chance, hit us up on Twitter. You could hit us up on our website, irwp.us. If you've got literally 50 cents to spare, a dollar to spare, whatever you got, even $1, it's not even that big of a deal. Check out the Red Cross website. There's a lot of websites out there, so you could donate to what's going on in Houston. You know, Sage and I represent for Texas. We represent for the wrestling fans. Booker T's going through some stuff out there. A lot of people, you know, going through the struggle. The grind is real out there. You know, it was not good. Sage and I thought we were going to get hit by the hurricane last week. Fortunately, we didn't, and we had some really nice weather. Some really, really nice weather. So I hate to sound so condescending, but man, just if you get a second, just throw some extra change, throw some spare change, a penny, a quarter, a nickel, dime, a dollar, whatever you got, towards those folks out there. You know, going through the Harvey release. A lot of those folks have lost everything, but we had a good week in wrestling. We have some great listeners. We have some great followers, some great subscribers. What I would really appreciate is if you guys can start leaving comments. I'm not gonna lie, went on my iTunes today and looked, and we don't have enough comments to even view the comments for the It's Real Wrestling podcast. So leave a comment. Just say show's trash, or that boy Ben Goosen sucks. Fire him. I don't care if it's good or bad. We just want to hear from you. As a matter of fact, if you said, man, you should talk about this, you never talk about this. Guess what? Next week, while we're small, we're gonna talk about whatever it is that you want. So just give us some stars. Give us 2 stars, 1 star, 5 stars, 100 stars, whatever you give us. Give us a comment. I'm your boy Ben Goosen at Real Ben Goosen. That's Sage the Mark, and I'm gonna let Sage finish this. He's got 3 words for you.
Mae Young Classic.
No, goddammit, you were supposed to say keep it real. We worked on this for 6 months.
My bad. Support women wrestlers.
No. All right, everybody.
No?
We're out. We're out. I'm gonna get into a fight. Keep it real.
Keep it real, fellas. And ladies, we love you.
We want the gold.